Starting strong in a new role can set the tone for your entire career. Today, I want to share what worked for me and offer some advice for those of you stepping into a new role as a buyer. From my own experience, getting off to a strong start is critical. And one of the most important things you can do is take control from day one. Let me take you back to my own early days at Unilever. It was June 1st, 1992, and I was stepping into a brand new role. But before I even showed up at the office, I did something that made all the difference. I spent a couple of days writing my personal mission statement. Now, this wasn't just some exercise in creativity or a way to kill time before my first day. It was a deliberate move. I didn't pull this mission statement out of thin air. Instead, I went back to the interviews I'd had with the people who hired me, the CFO, the CEO, and other key players. I asked myself, what are the core issues they brought up? What are their expectations of me? And then I structured my mission statement around those conversations. It wasn't complicated. I broke it down into three key parts. First, a description of the situation I was stepping into. Second, a clear statement of the objectives, what I was expected to achieve. Third, and finally, an action plan outlining how I would tackle these objectives. I even included what type of support I'd need from others in the organization. And I can't emphasize enough how powerful this was. On my very first day, I shared the mission statement with my boss, the CFO, as well as with the CEO, the head of sales, and several other stakeholders. It completely changed the dynamics of those initial conversations. Instead of being passive and simply absorbing information, I was actually steering the discussion. I was able to verify my understanding of the situation and objectives, and more importantly, align everyone around a clear plan of action. Now I know what some of you might be thinking. Shouldn't you spend your first days just listening? That's common advice, right? Listen more than you speak is a good rule in many cases. But from my perspective, it's not enough when you're in a critical role like procurement. While listening is important, taking initiative from day one is key. If I had just sat back and listened, I would have missed the opportunity to set a clear direction and get buy-in from all the stakeholders. In procurement, the expectations are high, and you need to show that you can bring value right away. And here's something else that happened. I used that mission statement to clarify misunderstandings early on. Of course, you don't learn everything in job interviews. There are nuances you only discover when you're in the role. By laying out my understanding on day one, I gave myself the opportunity to course correct quickly. This approach made sure that everyone, myself included, was on the same page. But that wasn't all. Aligning my plan from start gave me the opportunity to secure the resources and support I needed. My first project was to improve delivery performance, and it was a huge challenge. I needed to spend time in the field, going out with sales reps and visiting warehouses to see how things worked firsthand. Without that early alignment, I could have been stuck in the office, dealing with surface-level issues without really getting to the heart of the problem. After 2 weeks in the field, it became clear that the root cause of the poor delivery performance was very different from what everyone had assumed. The initial belief was that the issue was purely a logistics problem. But after observing operations closely, I discovered that the real issue lay in how the entire order process was managed, from sales all the way to distribution. I share this story because even today I believe that preparing a personal mission statement before you start a new role is one of the best things you can do. It sets the tone for your role and helps you steer the conversations from day one. You're not just receiving information passively, you're proactively shaping the course of your work. And yes, while it's important to ask questions and listen, don't hesitate to take charge and propose your own plan early on. You likely need to adjust it as you gather more information. But having a clear starting point shows your commitment and your ability to think strategically. Of course, writing a mission statement isn't possible unless you have asked the right questions during the interview process. Make sure you dig deep into the company's expectations, the challenges you'll face, and the resources available to you. So if you're starting a new role as a buyer or in any other function, really, my advice is this: don't wait to take action. Prepare a clear mission statement, share it with your key stakeholders, and set yourself up for success from day one. It's not about perfection. It's about having a structured approach, getting buy-in early, and aligning your goals with those of the organization. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Christian Schuh, and this has been Procurement in the Park. Stay tuned for more tips on how to succeed in procurement.